Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you get your beautiful questions in and we give you some half-decent answers. We try our best anyway. And we try our best to make it as easy as possible for you to come onto the show. And if you do not know how to do that yet, we're going to give you a quick reminder right now.
Yeah, just give us a call, 013 808 0035. That's 013 808 0035. You can leave us a voicemail, or if you're not in a position to jot that number down and your memory is not the best, then we've got an even easier way. Just go to propertyhub.net/ask. You can leave us a voicemail there instead. So you have no reason at all not to follow in the fine footsteps of Michael.
Hi Rob and Rob, Mike here. As always, great content, been listening to it for years. Quick question, I have some mortgages that are due very soon. I'm looking to fix for 5 years. Just thinking of the 18-year property cycle. 5 years brings us to where property cycle looks like you may get a crash. Is it a good time to fix for 5 years now? Or should I look for a 2-year fix and then do a 5-year fix afterwards? Just wondering what your thoughts are. 5-year fixed rates are great at the moment. So looking to go on that route. So your thoughts appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye.
Mike, good question. Tricky question. You're doing the right thing about thinking about the property cycle in relation to your mortgages, but it is a tough one because, of course, especially in your case with the example you've given, it's all about the timing. And if there's one thing that I say every time we talk about the 18-year property cycle, it's don't get fixated on the 18-year bit because that's the average and it could easily be out by a couple of years either way, which in your case could really hurt you because you're talking about a period of about 7 years or so. First thing I'd say is go back and listen to episode 434 where we speak to a mortgage broker about this exact subject. So there'll probably be some tips in that episode that will really help you out and help you to guide your thinking a little bit. But the overriding thing I would say is you're probably best off not overthinking this because, like I say, the timing can shift so much. It's probably not a good idea to try to be too clever. So personally, what I would do is if I wanted to fix for a long time, I would just go for the longer fix now rather than trying to get clever about it and do a 2 and then a 5. Because if it works, then you're a genius. That's amazing. But if it doesn't work, then potentially you're incurring an extra set of arrangement fees, which is quite a lot. Even if you add it to the mortgage, it's a real cost even if it doesn't come out of cash flow. And if mortgage rates go up, which it seems likely that they will as the cycle develops because they can't really get a whole lot lower, then you're going to miss an opportunity to lock yourself into a good deal. The final thing that may be worth exploring with your broker, if you are looking at holding the property for the long term, is 10-year fixes. There are nowhere near as many 10-year products as there are 5-year products, and as you'd expect, the rates are higher, but they are out there. And if the cycle does go roughly to plan, then it should see you through the peak, see you through the crash, and then give you a little bit of time at the end as well to wait for the market to come back again until more attractive mortgage deals start to emerge again. So a few things for you to think about there, Mike, but do go back and listen to episode 434 because that should really help you out.
Fantastic. So good luck, Mike. And next up, our question is in from David.
Hi. Yeah, I've renovated a couple of properties now in the last 3 years, and I want to know how I can take what I have earned and turn it into a full-time business with less than £100,000, bearing in mind I need also a property for myself. I'm not looking for anything fancy, but I just need to know how I can take some of that money and start it into a full-time business for myself.
David, thank you for your question. And congrats on doing those refurbs over the last few years. It's good that you want to carry on. It's not for everyone. And I'm pleased that you've obviously found your passion and something that you're good at. Me, I'd probably be still going on my first project 3 years in. But hey ho, this is not about me. This is about you. And it's about you starting a property business with less than 100k and going full time. Oh, is that a good idea? Well, if you listen to our podcast, episode 463, which went out in January, it was called Why Property is a Terrible Way to Make Money. And it wasn't why property is a terrible way to invest your money. The spoiler is, in that episode, we agreed that property for investment terms is fantastic, but property to make a living is not always ideal. And there are better ways of making money from property. But let's just say you've listened to that episode, you've been open-minded, but you're still committed to this project. Okay, so let's look at what's possible. So first of all, how many projects can you do a year? Well, with the budget you have, the time it'll take you to source the property, do a decent refurb on that property, with the type of budget you've got, I'm assuming it's going to be a sizable refurb, then sell the property. I think it's fair to say that you can do one a year, at least to begin with. You might be able to get to 2 every 18 months as you get better at it, but to begin with, 1 a year. So what can you expect to make each year if you're doing 1 a year? Well, normally for people who are doing refurbs or construction projects or anything similar to that, you would look for a 20% return on your funds. So let's round your money up to 100k. I know you got a little less. You would then expect to get around £20,000 out from that project. Now, you may, in this market, be lucky and get some capital growth as well. And it wouldn't be entirely unexpected if you did get capital growth. So your return would actually be higher than the 20k. But please do not let that fool you or kid you, because that's not a real business. It's capital growth that's making you money, not your refurb. So the refurb, if done well, with no issues, and as you probably know, that you've done a few projects now, there can be issues, you can expect to make, on average, based on the standards of what's done out there, and some people do better and some people do worse, of around 20k a year. Now, I have no idea where you live, and I have no idea if there's anybody else bringing in income into your home, but 20k would possibly be a struggle to live in a lot of places in the UK right now, especially with inflation, if that is the only income source that you have in your household. So what can you do? Because I'm sounding a little negative here, and I'm not trying to be negative, just being realistic with you and letting you know what's possible. Can you do it on the side? If you're so committed to this as a project and so passionate about it, can you at least do it as a side business and you bring an extra 20k in a year? Do it that way. You will have to work your weekends and possibly into the evenings, but if you love it, that might be feasible. Or a bit of a longer play on this one, build up a property portfolio, bring in extra income that way over time, so your income is supplemented, and then go into refurbs. Yes, that's a long play. And yes, I'm sure these answers are not what you want to hear, but they are the reality. If you want to make money faster, well, we talk about that in episode 463. And I really, really recommend that you and anybody else interested in going full-time into property listen to. Best of luck, David. And I hope whatever you decide to do makes you happy.
Well, there you go. 2 more questions answered. And if either of those have triggered a question of your own, then send it our way, propertyhub.net/ask. That's us done for today, though, and we'll be back on Thursday with the Property Podcast. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.